Milli Pod Fam, before we get started, I got to give a special shout out to my guy Herman Hudson of the Hudson Mortgage Team, powered by Fairway Mortgage. If you're looking to refinance or to purchase your first home or to purchase a home in general, you got to hit up my guy Herman Hudson. You got to hit up my guy Herman because him and his team have over 20 years of experience in conventional, FHA, VA, first-time home buyer experience, and also down payment assistance. So it's only right. So with all that being said, Milli Pod Fam, before we get back into the show, let the Hudson team help you mortgage your future. Let's get it. Good people, what's up, what's good? Thank you all again, man, for tuning in for another edition of the Milli Podcast. Blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. Today, we have a young living legend in the building, DJ Armstead. We're going to be talking about his life coaching program, the mindset, and life after sports. So let's tap in. Stay tuned.
DJ Armstead. Today we'll be talking about life coaching, how to become the best version of yourself, and life after sports.
Cool. We are back. Thank y'all again, man, for tapping in. Before we get started, you already know what you got to do. Subscribe, like, comment, and share this podcast with your friend, your mama, whoever, wherever, anywhere. BJ, man, thank you, bro, for pulling up.
I appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. It was a pleasure having you on our Millennial Masterclass series on IG Live, but being able to have you in person, you hit me up. I got you. Being able to chop it up in person, I'm super excited, man, about this. My boy just got his life coaching license, bro.
Yes.
Tell me about the process, what inspired you to become a life coach, all that good stuff.
Well, I mean, I've always been in positions of mentorship, positions of leadership, man, and just being able to help people. That was my biggest thing. I've always been able to pull the best version out of people, and I think we all have a certain level of potential inside of us, but the question is, are we able to pull that out, right? And when you go through life, there are so many distractions that we have that force you to not only see the potential that you have, but not be able to pull it out. You don't want to, right? You become something that you're not, and you become a magnet of doing things that somebody else is doing. And that's what you don't want to do. Don't ever strip yourself of your own uniqueness. Ever. Yeah. That's the worst thing you can do. Yeah. Is strip yourself of your own uniqueness. This thing right here is called your thumb, but it's also called a fingerprint. Yeah. Nobody's fingerprint is the same.
Nobody. That's
Nobody.
Deep.
So everybody has their own level of uniqueness, their own level of doing something that only you can do. Right? And if, like I said, I always say this, if there was something on earth that you could do that someone else can do just like you, you wouldn't exist. You wouldn't be here.
It's pointless.
What would be your point in even being on earth? Yeah. Right? So there's something that we all do that someone else can't do just like we can. We all bring something to the earth. And one more thing I say about this is, I'm big on this too. I'm a man of faith. Yeah. Right? I believe in God. And my thing is, if the Bible tells us that we're made in the image of God, why would God make something that's average? It's not going to happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So we have to be willing to dig deep inside of us and find out what is that thing that we do that can nobody else do just like us. So that's what I do. I help people maximize every ounce of potential inside of them.
Yo, you're in for a treat, BJ, man. You're already in the zone. Great combo, man, before we even started. I remember our conversation before filming, and you kept bringing up mindset. And that's a word that I think is so potent and powerful because right now, our age group, everybody's have businesses or people are just trying to branch off and create generational wealth or just be the best version of themselves. But how important is it to not only be consistent, but to have the right mindset?
It all starts with the mind. It all starts with the mind. The mind tells the body what to do.
That's right.
It's not the other way around. It's not, right? I think two words that you have to have when you're trying to achieve any goal is consistency and discipline. Right? You have to be consistent because the more you're consistent at things, the more you go towards a goal, the more you learn things along the way, the more you can make adjustments along the way in order to win at whatever battle you're facing. Right? It's about that consistency piece. You train the mind to be consistent because you want to form habits. Our minds are naturally lazy. I know that sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
Anybody tell you your mind is lazy, like, you're like, what?
How is that possible?
But the mind is lazy. That's why we have habits in the first place. I was reading a book called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And that's what he was saying. It was like our minds are lazy. Wow. That's the purpose of us having habits in the first place. And so you want to create that consistency so that you can stop thinking about things, right? You just react.
Yeah.
And that discipline piece is that every single place you look is going to be a distraction present everywhere.
Yeah.
It's sort of like new level, new devil.
Yeah.
But from a literal sense, there's going to be a distraction everywhere. But there's also going to be that option of doing something that leads you to your goal as well. You have to pick. You got to pick. Discipline is being able to separate your logic from your emotions. I'm big on not going off of emotion, but going off of logic. If you go off emotion, you can say, like, I'm trying to eat healthy this week. You're going to pass Subway and McDonald's, every other place that has good cookies. I love cookies. Yeah, all these options, right? But you're going to pass Subway, McDonald's, every other place that has good cookies, and you're going to say, man, I really want some cookies. Like, that would make me happy right now if I had cookies. But logic is like, no, I told myself in the beginning of the week, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to train, right? That's my logic taking over. I can't do this because I said I was going to do this. So it's just separating those two things, man.
Yeah, I love that. BJ, man, you're somebody, especially now, you know, from being around you, meeting you in person, who has a lot of discipline. And that's very important, like you said, with habits. How important is it for us to not only write things down, but to visualize it and to see it on a daily basis?
I'm huge writing things down, man.
Yeah.
I'm huge with that. I believe that being able to see things, you know, physically see things and make them tangible, forces you to not only stay disciplined, but it's going to remind you every single time you want to slack off the pad. I'm big on helping my clients write things down that they want to achieve and putting them in the bathroom so when they go brush their teeth, you know, they can see it every morning, every night. Or they put it on the refrigerator so when they go, you know, diet goes right when they put it when they open it up on the cake or the pie, you're gonna see like no. You know, they put it above their bed when they go to sleep, or when they wake up, they can look at it, right?
That's right.
So when you write things down, right, you have, I think it's a between a 30 and 55% chance of actually getting it done. That's the importance of writing things down. Be able to see it, right? Again, going back to faith, right? The Bible says, write the vision, make the vision plain. Write it down. That way you have a better chance of not only remembering it, but seeing it visually in front of your face. I'm big on that. Journaling is important for me. Absolutely, to getting things out.
That's right. That's right. Earlier too, man, just being able to talk to you and us talking about sports. And I remember telling you, man, what you're doing is so important, because what if we had grown up a young dude who looked just like us, relatable, not too old, still young, and just dropping jewels. And you said something that was very, very deep. Can you tell us the difference, right, between you and a regular coach, right? So if I have my head football coach or my receivers coach on the football team, I could talk to him. But at the end of the day, it's still like a business relationship somewhat, because I still got to perform. He can't show me too much favoritism because there's still other people on the team, other people at my spot, my position. But with you on the other side, you got a life coach, somebody who I could talk to and just pour out to. How important is it for us to see somebody who looks like us in that role?
Well, what happens is many times when you have relationships with your coach, you have relationships with your teammates, and you stop playing that sport a couple of years down the line, the basis and the root of your relationship is still based off of the sports you played, because that's how y'all became friends in the first place. Right. So something's always going to come up in conversation down the line, a throwback or something. Remember when you slid on the 5-yard line, didn't score? Like, something's going to happen, right, that happened back in the day with sports. And here's what you want. You want to be able to have a group of friends that have nothing to do with your sport. That's going back to writing things down. I tell a lot of athletes, write down things that you like doing outside of your sport. That's right. Once you have that list, go and cultivate friends that do that and know nothing about your sport. Know nothing. We get in trouble with this, right? We get in trouble when what you do becomes who you are. When you play sports, because you play sports, that's what you do. It's not who you are.
It's just an action.
It's just an action. It's something that you do, that you love doing, but that you do. When what you do becomes who you are, you're in trouble. Because what happens is your value as a person becomes based off of how you did in that specific sport. So with me, like I experienced that when I was younger, right? Where as a baseball player growing up, you know, you perform in baseball based off your performance. You're either talking to your friends or you're not. If you didn't do well in sports, you're not talking to your friends. If you did do well, everything's good. I had it with my parents. My parents were the same way, where it's like, yo, if I did well in baseball, we were good. We were good. We were going to movies. We were going to eat. Going whatever.
Yeah.
Let me go 0 for 2 and make 2 errors at shortstop. We might not talk for 2 weeks. That's just how it was, though. That's a lot of pressure for my athletes, and that's where I come in, where I'm like, I don't care what you did on the field or on the court. I'm here for you regardless. Not only that, but I'm helping you become a better version of yourself personally. We'll talk about the athletics, but personally, let's talk about how you can be better as well. So there's a lot of pressure, man, and I think specifically, in our communities, because of our lack of resources, we're only available to do certain things. And I think what's put in front of our face is what we aspire to be. So when we are shown LeBron James, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, a lot of the other athletes, Floyd Mayweather, a lot of the other athletes, we want to be that. We don't see anything else besides, sports. So we have to be willing to look outside and think outside the box. That's why I come in.
Yes, sir. I love that, man. And right now, man, there's so many black athletes of color who feel like, the only way how I can make it out of my current condition and situation is by running up these numbers on the football field, baseball field, basketball court, whatever. And it's always something physical. And it's like once that physical component is snatched from us, we don't have any trades, we don't have any skills. And then somebody like you're showing them, you can make money. You can even be a young entrepreneur by just chopping it up with people, by having game, all that. How do you sharpen your skill set? Because, bro, you play baseball, so I already know you were probably studying all the greats. But when it comes to life coaching, you can kind of carry that same mindset. But who do you study now when it comes to that field?
Well, my team, I have a phenomenal team, and that's big because, the people that you're around, like the tribe, determines your vibe. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to be willing to surround yourself with greats. Be willing to surround yourself with people who make you better. I posted something on Instagram. By the way, follow me on IG.
Oh yeah, we're gonna plug that in.
DJ the Visionary.
You already know we're gonna plug that in.
DJ the Visionary. But I posted something on IG where I said, a man, his biggest flex is his woman. Like your biggest flex is your woman. But to hop off that for a minute, your tribe determines your vibe. The people you walk with is going to determine how far you walk and where you walk. So you have to be willing to surround yourself and make the sacrifice. It's going to be uncomfortable at first because you're going to be the I don't want to say dumb, but you're going to be the less intelligent person, the least intelligent person in the entire group. But hey, you're going to get better. You're going to get better, right? So with me, I try to surround myself not only with people who are doing what I want to do in life, but people who are better than me intellectually, better men than me, right? I have a phenomenal background with my dad who showed me everything I knew as far as being a man. I have mentors like my boy Avery, who is a couple years older than me. So everything he's going through now with his wife and kids, I know I'm not far behind. So what mistakes are you making so I can make sure I don't? Like, how are you progressing in this area? How did you do this well in this area so I can make sure I copy that? So it's all in your team, man. All in your team. Besides that, I love reading. I'm a reading fanatic, man. I love reading, man. I love taking notes. All of that, man. It's just fun to me. I love being intelligent.
Man, that's a beautiful thing. And that moment when you decided, I want to do life coaching, how did that feel for you? Because, man, like what we were talking about earlier, so many athletes, and again, especially athletes of color, struggle with life after sports. So for you to find something that you're still passionate about, still around sports, how did that feeling feel? Like, I finally have a second purpose now. How was that?
I think it started back when I educated myself on the difference in who you are and what you do.
Got it.
So in my room now, I have like a cross, or like I guess a lowercase c if you want to call it that, where on the vertical I write down what I love. So I write down, what I love, and we'll just say sports or baseball, for example, right? Or the mental side of baseball. I use myself as an example. So I'll write down where I am right now and how far up I want to go. So in essence, that's what I want to do in life, like for a job. Because I understand the fact that if you do something as a job and you love it, it's not work. You're going to, like you would do it for free. That's how you want your job to be. You want to be able to do that for free. Of course, everybody got to eat, but you want to have that much fun with doing it that you'll do it for free if you could. So I have like the mental side of baseball, the mental side of sports, right? On the vertical. On the horizontal, I have like who I am. So I'm naturally an educator. I'm naturally an intellectual. I'm naturally somebody who learns, who loves to, give out game, all that. So I have like avenues I can go into horizontally, whether that's a podcast, writing a book, creating a rap album, having an ebook, like all of the stuff I've done.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of being a life coach, that's just who I am. Like I couldn't run from that.
Yeah.
You can't run from who you are.
Yeah.
You can't. It's gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
I told you earlier, bro. Like no matter if I could be at Home Depot talking to a cat about fries. I don't even go together, but I could be at Home Depot talking to a cat about fries.
You need some life coach today.
Yeah. But in the conversation, it's gonna come up where we're talking about personal development and getting better as a human and motivation. These things are gonna come up because that's just who I am. I can't run from that.
Yeah.
It was like that at a young age where it's like, bro, I'm always talking about this. What is God telling me?
Yeah.
So that's just what I did, man. That's how I became, being a life coach.
Yes, sir. I love that, man. You spoke about the ebook, rap album, multifaceted, so much talent. The Lightning series, I love that on Instagram. Sure. What inspired that, man? Because most people don't love giving out free game. Life coaches usually they'll be like, "Yo, you got to hit me up for a consultation, a phone call first." So, what inspired you to say, "Yo, I want to give out free game on Instagram"?
Instagram is free.
Instagram is free. Talk to me. Yeah.
Instagram is free. It's a platform to just, try to give out as much game as I possibly can. I'm one to believe that, knowledge is to be gained and to be passed on. So, if I learn it, that's the beauty of hanging around people. That's the beauty of your team. When you hang around people, and you know that they're consistently learning. It's gonna become subconscious to them that they're going to spread game with you because you're around them. Right. So with me, my Instagram followers really had a big part in that, though. If I'm being honest, because I have younger cats who follow me, like my mentees, my little brothers, people that came up under me playing ball at Morehouse, or people from Atlanta who are younger than me who looked up to me when I was young. My Neos in Omega, like. People follow me, and I know for a fact I have to be a beacon of light to them. It might be something that I say that can resonate with them in their life right now, and I want to make sure I say that so that they cannot make the mistake that they potentially could have made if I didn't say it. Yeah. So it all goes back to that. So absolutely.
Good stuff, man. Speaking on the team, networking, for people who are somewhat, I would say, scared to network or change that circle, because I already know when it comes to playing sports, you said this earlier, as well, like everything is always inside of a bubble.
Yeah.
Where you eat, who you talk to, your schedule, everything is already planned out for you. But now, once the football cleats are up, baseball bat is up, now you have control of your life for the first time.
Yeah.
So now you have a full 24 hours where you probably feel like a slave who finally found freedom, right? Because now, bro, you have all this time. Yeah. But I would probably say that now it's a challenge, because what are you going to do with it, right? So for new or fresh former athletes who want to do something different, but they're afraid to network and they don't even know who to talk to first, what are some first steps that they should probably take?
Start with your circle. Start with your circle. You don't have to go outside of your circle of comfortability. Like, you don't have to sit up here and say, I've been playing baseball. How long did I play? 22 years?
Sheesh.
For 22 years of my life, I played baseball, and now I have to go all the way to a different part of the world or a different whole other industry to try to find what I like. No. You got former teammates, you got coaches, you got, whoever else. All your coaches have a life outside of baseball. You can talk to them. Pick the coach that you're comfortable with, that you stayed around the most when you were playing ball, and talk to them about his actual life. Talk to your former teammates about what they do outside of the game, right? Just find what you love. Find what you love. I was at a leadership conference one time, and Willie Moore Jr. was speaking, and he said something I'll never forget. He said, everyone has a toolbox. Like, everyone has a toolbox. Nobody's ever broke because everyone has a toolbox. When you need money, what you do is you go back and you say, oh, I need money. Let me see which one of my tools I can use for this money, right? And everyone has gifts. Your gifts are things that you do easily in your sleep. Yeah. That you win at 9 out of 10 times. Yeah. Like, you can do them subconsciously and still win.
You're not even trying.
But you win. Yeah. Everyone has those.
Yeah.
Right? And I would say to athletes, what you don't want to happen is that you find those gifts too late. You got cats out here who just stopped playing ball because they got cut by their minor league team and they're 31 years old and that's all they've ever done. You don't want that to happen. You want to find yourself, or try to find yourself as much as possible at the younger stages, not when you're 30 something.
Yeah, man. That's it. Because sadly, man, we've seen stories about so many athletes losing their money, mental health issues, all these crazy things. So again, having somebody like you around showing them the ropes is so needed, man. It's so needed. And for yourself, man, from playing baseball in college, how was that whole experience? Morehouse, everything, man. How was that? Being a Q, all these things, and then now this final product.
Well, I mean, I'd say this: no matter what I did, I was always gonna be this person I am today.
That's right.
I couldn't run from that if I tried, man.
Yeah.
But I will say, life is a journey. Every single thing you go through, you're supposed to learn something from it to help you along with the next phase of life. So I think for me, being a Q has helped me out tremendously with that. There's a number of things that I learned in my journey to Omega and my, as an Omega. And the people I've met, networking, all of the, the brothers of Omega South 5 have helped out, and just every single small part about Omega helped me become a better version of myself. So I'm extremely grateful for Omega. I think for baseball, it's similar. There's a lot of small things. It's a little bit more subliminal in sports that you have to find out with life. Because as athletes, we don't sit there and play sports like, I'm going to find this about life to help me over here. No, it's about winning. It's about winning. That's facts. Being better than the next man. That's it. Put in more work, all that. But when you sit down and you think about baseball, you think about the fact that it's so symmetric. Like, you playing first base, and, first base is the person everybody throws the ball to get the out. Everybody has a job. Yeah. Second base, from home plate, it's a long distance, but from first base, it's a short distance. Shortstop, from home plate, it's a long distance, and from first base, it's a long distance. Third base, from home plate, it's a short distance, and from first base, it's a long distance. Everything is symmetrical, and they all have a even distance from all of the outfielders. It's crazy. The catcher is a person that calls all the plays, the captain of the infield. The coach has a job. The assistant coach has a job. The pitching coach, the hitting coach, everybody has a job to do, right? So in baseball, there are so many subliminal things that you can learn from, and that's why I love the game, man. That's why I love it. So there's a number of things I've learned from baseball, as well as being in the frat, as well as other things I've been through in life. Yeah, man. That's good. And bro, from you playing baseball, we spoke about this, man, again earlier. That was like a podcast too, about black athletes playing baseball. And I know recently Negro League with the stats went over to the MLB. I kind of feel like that's super, super late, but hey. It is. But you playing baseball, man, like that's a really interesting thing because Morehouse too, right? Yeah. That's beautiful, man. Yeah. HBCU. How can we get more young black men and people of color to get involved in baseball? Because you already know we love basketball, we love football, but baseball, that's where all the money's at. So how do we do it? That's a good question, bro. I think exposure is one. Being willing to go back into the community and sort of allow our young black men to see the many things we've learned from that. And I think just having fun with the game, man. I will admit, I played baseball for I'm 25 now. I played baseball for 22 years of my life. I'll be the first one to tell you. It's a boring game to watch. If you don't know nobody playing, you're going to be bored. It's long. It's hard, man. So, but I think just being able to enjoy the game, find some sort of enjoyment in the game, right? Find something that you love about the game. I think with that, but and baseball is a expensive game to play. When I was younger, I did an interview with New York Times, and they asked me why is it that a lot of black people don't play it, and I'm like, well, you got, first of all, using wood bats. Every one of them costs $150, and they can break it anytime. And when they break, you can't take it up. You gotta get another one. Wow. So you gotta have at least 2-3 of those in your bag. You gotta have a glove. That's another at least $200. You gotta have cleats. You gotta have other things. So there's a lot of things that you have to buy in baseball to make it more expensive to play. But I just think, like anything else, if you found enjoyment in it, you find a way to play it, right? Whether you don't have to use the most expensive things. So I think it's exposure. I think it's finding, enjoyment in the game, and just overall love and seeing the impact that it can have in your life. I love that.
And I already know, man, with baseball, that tenacity that you had in that, you probably, still have it now, man, with this. For former athletes, how do you carry that work ethic that you previously had for football, basketball, baseball, soccer? And now I still have to keep that same thing when it comes to being a life coach, entrepreneur. So how do we still keep like that same mindset as well?
You write down everything that you learn from sports that you can take from life, and you apply that to another avenue.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Right? So the hardest thing for athletes to do is to reflect on the sport that they eventually got cut from. It's tough because you literally go from growing up knowing that you are the top dog in whatever sport you play, to a team telling you are no longer good enough to play for us. That is tough, especially when that's the only thing you've done your whole life.
So it's like saying I'm not good enough as a human being.
You're not good enough as a human being.
You start taking it personal.
Especially when, again, when what you do becomes who you are, your value as a person becomes based on that thing. That's the difficult part. So I think, it's tough, but you have to be willing to look back on how was I as an athlete? What is it about me that made me good in my sport? Write that down. Write down the characteristics that made you good in your sport and apply those things to life. It's tough, but you have to do it. But I think, like I read my favorite book of all time. Shout out to Tim Grover, man. My favorite book of all time is a book called Relentless.
Okay.
Relentless is a book that really goes in detail about the mentality of Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and Michael Jordan.
I think I heard of that.
Yes, my favorite book of all time. And in the book, he says, what's the difference between the star athlete, a multi-million-dollar successful businessman, and a criminal? He said there's no difference. They all want the same thing. They're all extremely ambitious, hardworking. They all want to be the number one, right? They're all, discreet. They all have discipline. They all just put that same thing into different avenues. They're the same people. So what that told me is as a former athlete, I can take what I learned from baseball that make me good, and I can transfer that into a different avenue in life and be as successful as I was in baseball. So I think you have to be willing to write down everything that made you good in your sport and transfer that to a different avenue.
Relentless. Talking about people like D. Wade.
Tim Grover.
Yes. Shout him out. Talking about people like Kobe, D. Wade, Michael.
Yes.
These people are built different, mentally built different. Even, man, criminals. I tell people, like, they're really entrepreneurs, but they just had to find a way. But they're super ambitious, like what you said. And it's something about them just being wired differently. And honestly, bro, especially when it comes to MJ and Kobe, I felt like they were not afraid to fail. And that's something that's super dangerous when you're fearless, right? Relentless is cool, but being fearless is like even scarier, right? You being around athletes, pressure, like we spoke about, if you're playing at UGA, playing baseball at Morehouse, it's pressure, right? How can you tap into them and show them, once you drop all the expectations and all the fear, you said this earlier about having fun, how do we go from that stage of being fearful of, I can't miss this shot, I can't strike out, no errors, to I'm gonna do my best and already know that I'm gonna kill it? How do we get from there?
So pressure, I'll say two things. The first thing is pressure. The definition of pressure is when you are afraid of the after effect of failing at something.
That's facts.
That's pressure. Not having pressure is whatever happens, it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect the aftermath of the specific thing that I'm about to do.
Right.
That's not having pressure, right? I think with pressure, you start to, because a lot of this stuff is connected with like mental health, right? Anxiety. That's a big thing with pressure. Because with anxiety, I have a nickname for anxiety. Anxiety is your body's response to a fearful future. Like you are afraid of what could happen as a result of this thing, the outcome of it. And with pressure, it's the same thing. And what you want to do is not ignore the pressure. I think many times we choose to ignore the pressure and say like, no, I'm not afraid. I'm good.
It's like, bro, come on. I see your hand shaking.
Like, no, you're good. But now that you've understood, like I feel like pressure physically, and I feel it. Try to figure out why you feel it. Like, why do I feel pressure? Right. So for example, if you and I are playing basketball or something, We're in the championship game, and we say we have 0.5 seconds left or something, and you're shooting 2 free throws. Okay, you know that we're down 1. Actually, no, we're tied. If you don't make at least one of these free throws, we are going to lose the championship game. Ask yourself, why do I feel pressure? I feel pressure because if I don't make these at least one of these free throws, we're going to lose, well, not lose, we're going to tie and potentially go into overtime, which means we can
anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you've examined, okay, this is why I feel this pressure. Now let's figure out why or how we can make these free throws. So forget about what's going to happen if I don't. Let's figure out how I can make the free throws.
Yeah.
Okay, then you go back to fundamentals. Elbow in, follow through, eye contact, on balance with my shot, right? So now I've had all my fundamentals. Now the ball's going in because I follow my fundamentals. The ability to think and still feel pressure is so underrated. It's so underrated. Yeah. It's underrated, man. I think you have to be willing to do that, right? Be able to think. That's when you separate logic from emotion. There we go. You have to be willing to separate logic from emotion. Emotion is I feel pressure. Logic is, okay, how can I make this shot? And forget about the emotion. Yeah. How can I make this shot? And with something else I was about to say. Oh, that's what I was about to say. Also changing the perception on pressure. When you think about, because I do a lot of coaching as well, as far as like actual baseball and softball coaching, which I think I'll be coaching baseball prior to the day I die, because that's just it's so fun.
Hey, it's a look. Yeah.
But so a lot of times when you're in practice and you're having inter squad games, you have 2 teams and coaches say, the team that loses, y'all got 10 hills, y'all got run poles or laps or whatever, sprints or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of saying that, say the team that wins gets free whatever. Because what happens is you change the dynamic of the game. Instead of saying I can't mess up because if I mess up, I'm going to run. You're saying, let me be creative and find other ways to win. Because if I win, I get this free whatever.
It's a goal.
It's a goal. So it's different.
Yeah.
Change the perception on the pressure. It all starts in the mind though. That's all it is.
Starts in the mind. Yeah. I love that, man, because what you're doing with bros, that's amazing. Talked about that last time he was on the podcast. Mental health, man, that's such an important thing. And, you know, when it comes to young athletes, they deal with a lot. Yeah. You know, when it comes to the parents, schooling, trying to get that scholarship, all these things, man, at one time. Yeah. How can athletes and young athletes in particular stay cool and just try to be the best version of themselves? Because I already know, man, you know, just playing sports, you get stuck in a box. Yeah, you go. So how do you just stay level-headed all the time?
You find something outside of your sport. From a personal standpoint, you know, what really made me want to start working with athletes in the first place is at 16, I felt that pressure for the first time. Yeah. Well, not for the first time. I would say that climax at 16. But I think athletes are groomed at a very young age when they're successful at their sport to only play that. You get praised for doing things well in the field, and things that you don't do that have nothing to do with the field, no one cares. So you have to be willing to number one, do things outside of the field, but have friends outside of the field too. So from a personal standpoint, I started playing ball at probably 3. And, you know, I was praised a lot for playing sports. By the time I was 10, I was getting a lot of recognition around Atlanta. By the time I was 13, I was drafted. Like everyone knew, like, yeah, he's not going to college. He's getting drafted. There's no way he's going to college. At 14, 15, we get into starting on varsity and playing with other age groups and playing on these national teams and all this other stuff and having scouts and coaches at the game all the time. At 16, I moved to a different part, you know, and play with other people, and I'm uncomfortable because I'm playing with people who don't look like me, and I'm still required to perform even though I'm extremely uncomfortable. Not only am I uncomfortable because of what's going on the field with my teammates and there's no one that looks like me, but I can't talk to anyone about that. I can't. Yeah. So what I did was I attempted suicide 3 times. Right? So that's my story because I feel like I had no way out. So you have to be willing to have people in your corner that don't even care about sports. They don't care about that. They only want to see you for you. I don't have any yet, and a lot of these younger athletes aren't going to have any either, but a great example is kids. if an athlete has kids, these kids don't care about the fact that you just threw 3 picks.
I'm trying to hang out with my dad. Huh?
Yeah, I want to see daddy. I'm gonna jump on daddy's back. Like, nobody cares if you struck out 5 times.
And he's still my pops.
Yeah, you still pops.
Yeah.
You know, so from that example, like that's what you want in like athletes, but you want that from a different perspective for the younger guys. You gotta get, some friends that don't care about your sport, man. Hang around some other people, not just your teammates 24/7.
Yeah, good stuff.
And that includes parents. Going. That includes parents too.
Yes,
because parents are sometimes the worst ones. They see their child doing well in sports, and they get the big head and say he's at
going to the league.
At 5 years old, he's like, yeah, he's going to the league. He's 5. He can't even pee. Like what? So it's like, so it's like. He's not going to the league tomorrow. So you stop allowing that child to have a childhood, and you start bringing in all of these adult responsibilities. By the time he turns 16, he's burnt out. So that's just what it is. That's what it is.
BJ, man, you were in the zone. You've been in the zone for like the past few hours.
I sleep in the zone, man. I love it, man.
I love it, bro. I love it. Man, as someone who has faced adversity, how important is living life, man? Because I know, like, facing death, that can be extremely scary. But on the flip side, one's appreciation for life, it can be completely different now, right?
Yo,
how was that?
Living life is amazing, man. I think you have to be willing to live in the things that you love.
Right.
You have to live in what you love. I think people, we grow up now and we think that we have got to struggle in some part of life in order to feel the other side, and that other side is heaven. That other side is what we really want to be.
It's not the case all the time.
You don't have to do that. Bro, go into what you love.
Yeah.
Right? You can live in that. It's okay. No one is going to judge you because you are doing things that you love doing every day. Like, do that. Be happy. You have to understand, people, we live life like we coming back. Like, we live life like we don't, like, we know when we're gonna die.
One of these things.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
We live life like we get a second chance, and we don't. You gotta be happy while you're on earth. And you have to be intentional about being happy.
Yeah.
You have to. You don't have a choice. Like, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
If you're not happy, then you gotta find some people who you can hang out with, or find something you can do that will make you happy. So living life is essential, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Pressure's always gonna be there. It's always gonna be there. If you want conflict, that's just how the world is. If you want conflict is always gonna be there. But you can also choose that other option that's always gonna be there as well, called happiness, or doing something that makes you happy. Right? So that's what it is, man.
Yes, sir. Love it. Bros, last time, man, you were on the podcast, the Millennial Masterclass series. If you guys haven't seen that, make sure to tap in. It was a great discussion.
Yeah.
You being a part of that, being the life coach, I'm like, dang, man, BJ is like out here changing the world, man. Coaching baseball, softball, it's just beautiful, beautiful to see. What inspires you to get involved in the mental health space? Because it's young black men, that's something that's now is being talked about, but just a few years ago, man, it was very, very quiet.
Yeah.
So now you being involved in that. Explain that for me.
Well, that started out, my mother, man, she was, shout out to my mom, that's my best friend, man.
Yeah, I love it.
She had been doing mental health since the 80s. Really, she had been doing that since the 70s, really. And I grew up, I was born in 95. So as soon as I came out the womb, I was like, we're going to the case, we're going to, you know what I'm saying? Going to DJJ, D-Facts, all that. Out the womb. So I was already growing up in like mental health anyway. But it really hit me hard when, growing up like in Atlanta and seeing like my mom having my mom ask me if I knew certain kids that were now in the system. And it's like, bro, I was just playing football with them last week. Yeah. What do you mean he's in the system? Yeah. It's like, yo, that starts to affect you when it's like, these are my friends that are now in the system. Yeah. And it's just heartbreaking because, when you're a kid, your friends is all you got. You're having fun.
Brothers, man, pretty much.
Yeah. So that's just what happened. That's just what happened with that. But mental health has always been a part of me, man. Especially from someone who's dealt with it, personally as I have. Yeah. I see the why. And I think that's the biggest thing with anything else in life is seeing the why in things that dictates the value. Like Nikki Johnson said, how you view what you do is always going to determine how you do what you do. It always is. You gotta see the why in things, man. So that's why mental health is like, that's what I do, man. Yeah.
I love it, man. Speaking on the why, so often, man, we always hear people say, find your why, find your why. But a lot of people don't say how to find your why.
Yeah.
How should we find our why? How do we do it?
You have to, first you have to think about the signs. You have to be close to, I'll say me personally. I'm extremely close to God. We have a phenomenal relationship, God and I. And you have to be willing to listen to God, and you have to be willing to pay attention to the things that God's telling you when y'all speak. Meditation is extremely important as well. Digging deep inside yourself and clearing out the world. Be willing to do that. I think also too, going back to the gifts, pay attention to yourself. Like from an awareness standpoint, like pay attention to the fact that I do certain things very easily, or I'm always doing this specific thing unconsciously. Like that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, understand your gifts. Understand the things that you're good at doing. There are things that you're good at that nobody else knows how to do. There are some things that you might talk to somebody that you love doing and they have zero idea it even exists. Yeah. So be willing to educate that person on that. So it's a lot of ways, man, of finding out like the thing that you love doing. You just have to be willing to be aware. That's the key, is awareness. Yeah. Awareness,
reading the room, man. BJ, man, you're somebody who's super calm too, bro.
Yeah.
How do you stay cool? Because there's potential life coaches who could be tuning in, or young entrepreneurs. How do we try to stay poised? Because it is a lot of pressure, but still, you still got a social life, loved ones, partners, whoever, wherever. How do you find that balance between the work, between being a life coach, entrepreneur, coaching the kids,
for sure, man.
Bros, the ebook, rap album, all that stuff? How do you find the balance? And I would probably say, man, a step further, like finding that peace, because that's a big thing, man, as well. So how do you do it?
Well, I think, just being willing to calm yourself down. I think that's a gift and a curse of ambitious people.
Is
the ambition and us wanting to go a million miles per hour and being willing to take a rest day. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Being laid back and calm and tranquil is a part of my personality. I'm just a natural laid back guy. But it's hard sometimes. Like, it's harder for me to take a day off than it is to put the actual work in.
I feel you, bro.
It's hard because your mind is thinking like,
you still thinking about it. Like, I'm resting, but I could be doing this right now. Like, yeah.
So it's hard, man. But you have to be willing to again have that discipline to say like, yo, it's time to take a day off. Got chill. But I think, man, you have to be willing to just calm. Just be calm. Just calm down, man. And listen. If you're going a million miles per hour and you're talking, if you're talking, you can't listen. You're talking. Yeah. Right? And you have to be willing to chill and listen to things. Listening is extremely important, externally as well as internally. So you have to be willing to listen to yourself. There are a number of things that we do well as people that we have no idea about because we have not listened to ourselves. You got people who are 30 years old who have never listened to themselves. Like, never. And as a result, they don't know what they can do well. They don't know what their gifts are. They've done everything that people have told them to do. Whether it's go get a job somewhere, take this course, go to this school, talk to this girl. Like, they've done everything that other people want them to do, in the way they've lived their life on account of other people. And they haven't lived life on account of themselves. So you have to be willing to listen to yourself and ask yourself, what do I want to do? And whatever I want to do, let me do that. Because when I die, I'm going to be the only person in my casket. Let me make myself happy. Right? And then after we straighten that out, we can figure out the other stuff.
That's good, man. That's good. Because staying on that same point, I know that there's probably people who's tuning in, and this is millions of people it's the same monotonous thing. You're going to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And those same people, they might have brilliant ideas, like billion-dollar ideas, and those people might be trying to take that risk of, doing the business full time, but they can be afraid. What words of inspiration and encouragement could you tell them possibly on taking that chance?
At a young age, I asked, because my mother's an entrepreneur as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
One of the top entrepreneurs I've ever seen in my life.
That's beautiful.
So is my dad, and it also runs in my family with my grandfathers. Both of them are entrepreneurs.
It's already in the blood.
Had their own businesses, multiple businesses. And so I asked my mother one time, I say, you know, like, why is it that everyone don't have their own business? Like, why is it that everyone can't have their own business? And she said, some people they're not comfortable with entrepreneurship. They don't want that. They're comfortable working with someone else, partnering, whatever they do. So on that topic, you know, I think entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
Yeah.
But ownership is.
That's right.
Ownership is.
You gotta own something.
You have got to own something.
That's right.
There should be something that you can do that no one can tell you how or when to do it. You have to own something. Own something. It don't matter if you work for someone else. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you are afraid to take that leap into entrepreneurship, I would say, don't let anyone control your own dream.
That's right.
So the things that you do well, that you love doing, don't allow anyone to control you and control when you do that thing. You do that. You call the shots. If it's something that you love doing, you have to make sure that you are in control of that. Create that. You customize that. It's all on you.
Yeah. It's all on you. I like it, man. As a life coach, a young one too, bro. A young one. Here in Atlanta, what has been, I would probably say, the most exciting experience yet of being able to connect with people, consult people, listen to the stories, and know that you're constantly pouring in value to them?
That's easy. I think seeing people reach back to when they were children and seeing them bring back an experience that forced them to be how they are in adulthood. I had a client the other day that reached back so far into something that was told to her by someone she trusted, and she just broke down crying because it affected her that much and forced her to make decisions in adulthood. You know, every decision she was making in adulthood was based on what she was told as a child. And just seeing people not unlock answers, but to go back and pull things out, you know, that they thought they probably would never pull out, and to really search for answers. I always tell people I don't have the answers to everything, but if I could show you how to find it, I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you what to do, but if I can force you to think about how you can figure out what to do, I'm good. My day is made. I'm happy, right? So I think with me, that's my biggest pleasure as being a life coach, is seeing people pull out things from their childhood, and pull out things. Oh, this is why this happened, because I was like this over here, and that's why I make this decision. Like, I love that. That's what I love. So that's just what floats. That's what floats me, man. It's like a floating feeling when you experience that as a life coach, helping someone. Yeah,
that's selfless, bro. You said something that was very deep, and I think, you know, you probably didn't even see it about, I don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
And that takes so much humility, man, just to take a step back and be like, I know something, but not everything, right? Not everything. How do we constantly stay humble, right? Because I already know how it is sometimes being an athlete, graduating from school, grad school, being part of this org, working over here, the album, the ebook. You can get like a pretty big head, right? Like, yo, I'm out here killing it. But how do you stay humble though? How do you do it?
It's a constant quest, man, to be better. I live by the midnight rule. Shout out to Jenk Thompson, by the way. It's another one of my favorite books. It's Compete Every Day. If you haven't read that, please go get that. It's on Audible. It's on paperback, all that. Jenk Thompson is a beast, man. But he has the midnight rule where he talks about people not allowing their previous day to bleed into the next day.
It's a new 24, huh?
So it's a new 24. So everything good or bad stops at midnight. And then after midnight, it's a whole new day.
That's beautiful.
So with me, I'm on a constant quest to see what else I can unlock. I need something else. Like I don't want to say I'm never satisfied, because that would mean I'm never happy, but I'm happy. There's a I guess a fine line between being extremely confident. Like, I'm insanely confident with things. I'm not. I don't.
That's how you do it.
I don't think there's nothing I can't do. But I know that there's things I don't know. That's a bar, by the way.
Yes, sir. Hey, that's why I'm listening, bro. Talk your talk.
I need a new album. But I mean, I'm on a constant quest to see what else I could find, man. Like, I haven't done everything yet that God told me to do. And I want to make sure that I get everything done. When I die, I want to be crawling. I want to be like Joseph Lowry, like died at 98.
And you gave it everything.
And give it everything, bro. Like everything. So that's my biggest thing, man, is just potential. I know there's more potential inside of me, and I want to unlock every single ounce of that that's inside of me, bro. All of it. All of it. That's what keeps me going.
Hey, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
When it comes to potential, ambition, having those goals, it's like I want to get there like as fast as possible. You start putting in all the work, but like, how do you stay patient?
I don't want to get that fast.
Process.
I don't want to get that fast.
You like the process, don't you?
I love the hunt.
There we go. Talk about the process.
Real talk.
I like it.
Real talk. I get mad sometimes when I accomplish things. That sounds crazy.
Nah, hey, talk about it. I'm listening.
Because I love to hunt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy when I get rejected.
The chase.
It's the chase that excites me. I don't care about reaching the goal. I already know I got the goal.
Yeah, I feel you.
If I apply myself, there's nothing I can't do.
Yeah.
Zero. There's nobody's gonna tell me no.
Yeah.
I know I've applied myself enough. So there's no way you can tell me no. Who else you gonna find? So with me, that's like, I love when I get rejected sometimes, and I hate when I accomplish it, because it's like, damn man, it's over with now. I hate that. You know? So I'm just a natural hunter, man.
Yeah.
I love hunting. I love it. I love it, man. It's the thrill that it gives me, and it's the challenge it gives me. I'm extremely competitive. I love to compete. There's a funny story I have in terms of competing. When I was at Morehouse, my senior year, I needed an extra class. I took weight training, and I needed like an extra PE class. Took weight training, you know, like any other athletic guy, tried to get in basketball. It was full, so I couldn't get in basketball. I was like, I'm not gonna get into like, you know, track and all that, because I'm not even gonna run all day. I ain't gonna do all that.
I feel you. Gotta save the legs, bro.
I'll be tired anyway. Yeah. So badminton was the one that I had to take.
Wow.
So you know, I had never played badminton my entire life. I didn't know what it was. Wow. Zero.
I don't even know what that is, bro. That's why I'm listening. Yeah.
I had zero knowledge of what badminton was. Bro, I stayed up that night. I picked, when I put it in my schedule, I stayed up the whole night and examined not only what it was, but who was good at it, tournaments, the history of it. I don't know everything about it. We had 31 kids in class. We had 32 kids, including myself. And we had to play tournaments where we had to play every kid. I went 31-0 in badminton. And, you know, I'm just that competitive where whatever it is, bro, I don't care what it is, bro, you're not going to beat me. Bro, if we run up and down the street, you're not going to beat me. You're not. I hate losing at everything, bro. And if you beat me, I don't care if we're here until 2
We're going to run it back.
We're going to do it until I win.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do it until I win. That's just
Giants mindset. You beat me 99 times. Yes. I get one.
Absolutely. You're not going to beat me. I'm that competitive. So for me, it's about the chase. And like I said, that's a different type of mindset. It's not regular to think that, like, damn, I accomplished it. You know what I'm saying? Most people go into the club, they're going to party or celebrate. I don't want that, man. Like, I actually like, you know, not accomplishing it. So this is what it is, man. It's selfish, but
nah, it's not. Nah, bro, BJ, man, like you saying that's different, because I think I was on a podcast last week and we was having the same conversation about the process, right? Yeah. And by you saying that, that's something that's extremely interesting, because I think that failure teaches us lessons more, right?
Yeah.
And I remember America's Game, there was this docuseries on NFL Network. I used to watch it all the time as a kid, and they did one, I think, on the 96 Packers. Brett Favre won the Super Bowl, and he was saying that after they won, he was kind of like disappointed, because he was saying, just like what you said, what's next? Because he was saying during the playoffs, the regular season, I love the preparation. I love not knowing, thinking and believing that, you know, we might win, we're going to win maybe, but then playing that team and playing against Steve Young or playing against Drew Bledsoe or whoever and saying, yo, we might not win this game, but I'm going to have to watch all the film I can. Buddy, he's going to have to run this route, this type of way.
Yeah.
So with the process, us as young millennials on social media, things is moving fast.
Yeah.
Seeing people on social media having a bag early. So it's like, yo, F the process.
Yeah.
I gotta get this bag. I gotta do this. How do we fall more in love with the process itself, and also failure too, man? Because I think that we have this common misconception that failure, that it's a bad thing. But how do we use that loss and turn it into a lesson and then keep enjoying that process?
You have to be willing to separate yourself from the masses. When I was in high school, I used to watch a lot of Ray Lewis. And
that explains everything.
You can imagine how I was walking into 7 a.m. first class.
Hit stick everybody.
Pumped up.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like I had 10 Red Bull. But one thing that he said that will always stay with me, bro, he said whatever the majority is doing, do the opposite and find yourself successful 9 out of 10 times. That applies more today than it did back in 2012, 2013, 14 when I was in high school. That applies now more because, or it applies more now, my fault. But I think, social media programs us to be like everybody else. Like it literally triggers that dopamine in your mind, that dopamine hormone in your mind to do things just like everybody else. That's the scary part about social media. I told one of my homies this the other day, I was like, bro, social media is the best and worst thing that ever happened to us. Literally. Because it allows you to talk to people around the world. It allows you to network, get your name out there. Decent Young Fly got $1 million off. You know what I'm saying? It hadn't paid. Like all of these guys, Manuel Hudson, a lot of these guys have come off of social media. Yeah. Right? Which is phenomenal. Great. But it's also trained us to wake up in the morning. First thing we do is go to Instagram. Scroll. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't even read the daily Bible verse.
They ain't read.
Yeah, they ain't even brush your teeth yet. Yeah.
So we go to Instagram and it's just so addicting though. But here's the thing though. Once you understand how something works, you can tweak it and you can customize it to benefit you.
Like it. Yeah.
And for me, what I did with Instagram was I stopped following nonsense. I started following things, number one, that I love looking at, things that interest me as a person, and things that I know can get me better as a person. So I'll follow baseball pages. I'll follow ESPN. I'll follow NFL Network, NBA, LeBron, whoever else. I'll follow personal development pages. I'll follow people I know that can get me better. I don't have to follow things that I don't want to see because who you follow is what you're going to see. That's in life in general too. Who you follow is what you're going to see on Instagram, right? So you have to be willing to flip that. You got to flip that, right? And not be willing to be like everybody else, but be willing to customize IG and other things in life to go towards the direction that you want to go into, so that every step you take, you're getting better and you're seeing things that you want to be, right? So it's like FOMO is real, bro. FOMO, fear of missing out, is real. I call it 5J, like fear of being judged, because that's essentially what's happening. Is you're being judged. You have to be that strong as a person to say, man, I have that much confidence in myself to be myself and only myself. And as long as I'm myself, the right people will be around me because they're going to be attracted to me and they're supposed to be in my life. I don't have to be something else to attract a certain person.
Yeah. Love this conversation, man. BJ, one of my biggest pet peeves, you said it, people not being themselves. Because earlier, man, talking about the thumbprint, fingerprint, DNA, it's only 1-on-1, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, from social media, from comparing each other, it's like, I'm not this person. I'm not at that level yet. So how do we get more comfortable with being in our own skin?
Well, I think a lot of that starts with who's around you. It starts with your environment. I think when you're told enough times that you're doing something wrong, you're going to change it.
It's only right.
Yeah, you're going to change it. It's natural. You're going to change it. I think... So if you're in an environment where you're doing things and people are saying, this is wrong, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, then naturally as people, you're going to want to make adjustments to fit their needs, to make them happy. But you have to be strong in order to say, listen, I don't want to do this specific thing. I want to be me over here. It's like a rat race, bro. It's like, a rat race. It's like a rat wheel, like a hamster wheel, I mean. If you're running on a hamster wheel, like you've seen a hamster run on a hamster wheel, they're continuously running, running and running and running and running and running, and not going anywhere.
Right.
And that's how like people are when we try to be something that we're not. You're never gonna please people because people can wake up on Monday and love you. People can wake up on Tuesday and say, well, you're terrible. People can say, BJ is not doing anything with life right now. He's staying stagnant. I don't know what he's doing. Why is he even here? Like, bro, you a trash. Same person on Tuesday can say, yo, I appreciate what you said to me, man, the other day, man. It really helped me out. It's like, I appreciate it, but I know I'm so strong with this right here and up here that I only hear this. That's it, right? That's it. So I think you just have to be strong up top, man.
I love that. man, you have the rap album. It's
Yeah.
dope. Played it. Listen to it, man. You talking about consistency, hard work, faith. Man, tell me about what inspired that album, man. Because the music that we have out, man, today, man, said we was just talking. I think the music video of the Throw Baby, it came out like yesterday. I was looking at it, and yeah, you know, it's cool and all seeing the baby, city girls, all this, whoopty whoopty whoop. It's cool, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, there's no substance, right?
Yeah.
And you, with your album, there's substance. Talking about things that's tangible that I can apply right now, today. No shade, but Throw Baby, like, that's not tangible for me, right? But you have something that I can play in the morning, I can listen to. What inspired that?
So I say this. My pops was a DJ in the 80s in Atlanta. He was one of the hottest DJs.
Yeah, bro, he did a lot, man.
Yo, he does. He's a Renaissance. I call my mother Superwoman.
Yeah.
I call my dad the Renaissance man.
That's dope. That's dope.
But he was one of the hottest DJs in the 80s growing up. He was DJ Cool Breeze. So I got parents in Atlanta.
Sound like a dope old school name. Yeah.
Ask about DJ Cool Breeze.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
I'm son Cool Breeze. But
Baby Breeze.
Yeah, baby. There you go. Yeah.
Mark.
So I was raised off of like the old LL Cool J, the old Run DMC, the old Cool Herc, Sugar Hill Gang, Rakim, early Nas, what else? Those rappers.
Kane,
Big Daddy Kane, all that, right? Eric B. Like the guys that actually were fighting, Chuck D, the guys that were actually fighting for something. So that leads into my top 5.
Let's talk about it.
Got Nas first.
I like it.
Jay second. 9 times out of 10, if I'm listening to music, I'm listening to one of those two. Nas or Jay. Nas, Jay, let me see. Nip.
I knew he was gonna say Nip.
Nip is definitely up there.
So if you're gonna say Nip, I already know who's gonna be honorable mention, probably Rick Ross, maybe.
Rick Ross is definitely honorable mention.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love J. Cole.
Yeah.
Message wise, I love J. Cole.
Yeah.
I'd take somebody who was slept on because he's not big, but talks about substance. Ace Hood.
Oh yeah,
Ace Hood.
My brother Zach, shout out to you.
Yes.
Hey, that's one of his favorites, top 2 for him. So yeah,
Ace Hood.
Somebody understands.
Ace Hood will have you wanting to get out here and run through a brick wall to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Because him as a man, his story is so remarkable.
Underdog.
He's not big at all.
Underdog.
He's not absolutely underdog, 100%. But I would say that inspired me to write it. But what really inspired me to write it is I was coaching baseball one day, and one of my outfielders came up to me. He said, I said, the problem, man, is that y'all don't have like any substance now with music. Like y'all don't have anything that's teaching y'all something.
Yeah.
Y'all just have the nice beat and the guys are just mumbling over the beat.
Yeah.
That's it. It sounds good because they have a nice beat and they're riding the beat.
It's melodic.
That's it. It's melodic,
yeah.
And I said, what y'all need is like, Nas, Jay, Tupac, Big, somebody like that tell you stories that can teach you stuff, something like that. He looked me dead in my eye. He said, Coach Love, baby, really better than Tupac, for real. I said, well, before I put my hands on you, let me go ahead and
let me walk out of here, bro. BJ gonna be on the news. He's gonna choke some little kids.
I took a couple breaths. Thought about my mama, you know what I'm saying? And I say, man, let me go ahead and make my own album, man. So I wanted to make my own album off that,
So Bad Little Kids inspired this album.
We can go there. You know what I'm saying? I'm that competitive.
It's so like I'm gonna show you something.
Yeah, I'm that competitive to where it's like, bro, I'm gonna show you that I can do what the guys are doing that you listen to.
Just for you.
Just for you. And I'm gonna make something. So I got the best beats. And I say I'm gonna make something that you can learn from. So it's gonna sound like the guys you listen to, but it's gonna say something better. So then you can listen to this. Right? So it's sort of like not criticizing people for stuff, not saying something, but doing something. Create your own. You know what I'm saying? So that's what really inspired it though.
Yeah. Man, speaking on that, by you taking that action, you talked about how to eat to live, honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes.
Don't condemn a dirty glass of water, just put a clean one right beside it. You did that with this album.
For sure.
Dope stuff. Bro, transitioning, man, to the diets. How to eat to live. How did that book inspire you when it comes to discipline, diet-wise, all that? Because that falls inside of life coaching as well. How'd that happen?
It opened my eyes to so much. It opened my eyes to so much. That book has secrets in it that you don't even think about. When you read the book and it's like everything becomes so open to your eyes right in front of you. And book 1 and book 2, both of them. So if you haven't read that book, I suggest y'all get it. So get that book for real. From a personal note, my family, most of the people in my family have passed away from heart conditions. Or if they haven't passed away, they have heart conditions now. 2016 in July, I believe, we get to church and I'm sitting next to my dad. He starts sweating out of nowhere, like sweating, like drenched in sweat with a suit on, like he had just ran a marathon. And he can barely. He's trying to breathe. He starts breathing heavy. And he goes up to the top, and he's like, I need to go to the hospital. So eventually he stopped breathing heavy. Everything pretty much goes back to normal. My dad, being the former athlete he is, he's like, I'm good. I can go back down.
It's that ego.
Yeah, ego, right? It's toughness and mental toughness, right?
Yeah.
I can go back down. I'm all right. Good. so my mom is like, now let's wait. So the doctor tells him like, yo, go to the hospital now and just see what that is.
Man.
Right? We get to the hospital and find out my dad had a blockage in his heart.
Jeez.
And if he wouldn't have went to the hospital, the blockage would have still been there and stopped his heart from beating. Or stopped the blood from going to his heart. In church. So he would have had a stroke pretty much.
Wow.
And so that was rough, but that was brought on by like diet, stuff like that, not getting rest, not getting water, stuff like that. And so another thing too that my family suffer from is diabetes. So I have to make sure I watch what I eat in terms of sweets and meat especially. I think another thing too from a scientific and knowledgeable standpoint is everything you eat is connected to how you think.
Jeez.
Everything.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to eat from the ground. I can't stress that enough. I said that in my book. I got a podcast on it.
Yeah.
Like my rap, all that. You gotta be willing to eat from the ground because what happens is the food from the ground has sunlight. You want to be able to put that light inside of your body.
That's deep.
So that way you have natural energy.
Yeah.
Don't sit up here and eat from McDonald's and Burger King.
Energy drinks and stuff too. Man.
You gotta be willing to eat from the ground.
Yeah.
What you need to survive on Earth is already growing in the ground. Water is from the ground.
Isn't that amazing?
Bro, my grandmother lived to be over 100 years old and she had a well in the backyard and grew all her food, bro.
So it was all coming straight from the source.
All coming from the source.
Yeah.
There's no process, anything.
Yeah.
So be willing to eat from the ground. Protect yourself. Yeah.
Love that, man. The diet, the ebook, the podcast, BJ, you in everything right now.
Trying, man.
Having a voice. How does it feel, man, to express all your thoughts and to share with people through the ebook and also through the podcast as well? How's that been for you?
It feels good. I understand that not everyone likes, one specific thing.
Yeah.
Like different people like different things. So
yeah.
One person may love reading, another person may like listening to music, another person may like hearing podcasts. I just want to make sure I tap into enough avenues for people to hear what I'm saying. That's the biggest thing for me. Knowing how to spread, my message across a long way. You know what I'm saying? And just reaching more people. Being creative. For me, that was a process that I don't rap. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that.
You did it. You still pulled it off.
Yeah, but as I'm writing, I was praying. I was like, yo, God, just write this down, please. Like, show me what to write. And I was just like shocking myself that I was actually writing 16
That's crazy.
bar verses. And it was sounding good. Like, I didn't even think you was going to do that. But, you just have to be willing to stretch yourself and be more creative. So, absolutely.
And man, PJ, bro, man, you're somebody who constantly steps out of the comfort zone. I know that you probably don't outwardly say that, but by everything that you do that's not comfortable with the rap album, with life coaching, with transitioning after sports, even playing baseball itself is constantly being uncomfortable. Like I gotta go work out, gotta perform, new opponent every single week. What is the importance of us to constantly challenge ourselves, right? Because if we stay in this box, everything is just gonna stay in that box.
Your comfort zone will kill you.
Talk about it. Yeah.
Your comfort zone will kill you because in your comfort zone you have no choice but to practice consistency, discipline, and fearlessness. I told my mom the other day, discipline has killed more men than gunshots. Discipline has killed more men than gunshots. You don't have any discipline, and that's why you're not obtaining things in your life. You don't know when to say yes and when to say no. The Bible talks about discernment. You got to have discernment. In Proverbs, bro, you have to have discernment. But that's what that comfort zone teaches you to have. Or teaches you not to have, I apologize. You have to step outside of that comfort zone so you can learn other things that you are good at doing. And on top of that, it's the gratitude, man, that feeling that you get when you accomplish something else that you didn't even think you could accomplish.
Yeah.
or you reach into other avenues that you didn't even know existed. That's a different type of like pleasure.
Yeah.
It's different because you're growing, literally, like you becoming a bigger version of yourself that you didn't even know you could do. So I think that's important, man. Like, how could you know that you can get something if you never tried?
Yeah.
How? It's like guys approaching women. Like, bro, if you don't approach her, you will never have her. Like, ever.
You might not ever see her again.
You might not ever see her again,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
With the way the world's set up, she's gonna be in the house on Zoom.
Yeah, with the mask on.
With the mask on, you know what I'm saying? And can't go outside the room.
That's crazy.
So I mean, you have to be willing to go outside of your comfort zone and say something. It's gonna be tough sometimes. My teacher used to tell us that all the time. Shout out Ms. Burrell. She used to say, you know, if you're having trouble saying it, say it while you feel trouble. Say it. Say it while you feel bad.
Just get it out.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Say it. Right? But be willing to stretch yourself. And you're gonna find things about yourself you didn't even know existed. And they're gonna bleed into other avenues of life. If you have a fear of public speaking, go out there and do some public speaking.
Just get it over with.
Go out there and do it. And you're gonna find what works for you to help you get through it, and then you're gonna apply that to a different avenue in life. So now when you have that job interview, you can use those same things you did to help you with public speaking in that job interview. That's what it is, man.
I'm listening. I like this. So earlier, man, we spoke about embracing the fear, right? But now let's go further in that moment, like itself of public speaking, in those free throws. What do you tell yourself, like directly in that moment, right when it's happening, before I utter that first word, public speaking, or being on camera for the first time?
I tell myself it doesn't matter if I mess up.
There we go.
I literally tell myself that.
Back to failure.
It doesn't matter if I mess up. Like, if I mess up, I'm just going to get some cookies.
And like, it goes on.
It goes
You'll
on,
forget
bro.
later in the
Like,
day.
I have enough friends and I have enough mentors and enough of my parents who don't even care. Like, I don't care if you mess up. What is that going to do? You're still my son. You're not going to be my son if you mess up. You know what I'm saying? We're going to just destroy your birthday.
Stand outside.
You know, change the locks.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. But I just tell myself, man, it doesn't matter. One of the biggest pieces of advice I got was from a podcast called Thoughtful Force Podcast. If you're a baseball player, go listen to that podcast now.
I'm going to check it out.
And what they said was, you know, in terms of, you know, times that, you know, you feel pressure and the game is on the line, when you're working out, yes, you should feel, you know, pump yourself up. They gave up on me. Anything you can pull from to force yourself to go harder, use that motivation, right? And when you're in the weight room and when you're working out, when you get in the game, it's like, if I mess up, I already worked. I did all the work. I put the work in. Let's go play. That's it. That's literally what's going through my mind. That phrase is going through my mind. I've literally put all the work in I could. Let's go play. And then we play. Play is the key word, though. Let's go play. It's not a fact of the matter of, oh, I'm about to sit up here and screw up and everyone's going to be mad at me. No, not at all. I put the work in. I see what I need to do. Let's go do it. Yeah. That's what separates Michael Jordan, Patrick Mahomes, who else? Kobe.
Yeah.
All of these guys.
Yeah.
They can separate that logic from that emotion. The emotion is, I feel like I'm about to mess up. I feel pressure. I'm nervous. The logic is, okay, cool. Emotion's over here. Logic is, what do I need to do to win? Okay, I have to make sure that my mechanics are right when I'm shooting this ball. Make sure I get the ball past half court. That's logic. I'm thinking while I'm in the action of doing something.
I see what you're saying. So it's not all being scattered.
I don't even feel the emotion. I'm just going strictly to logic. And your mind has to be strong enough to handle that. Yes.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. Mental health, the mindset, all these things, man, it's so important. It's so important. BJ, on the daily, man, what drives you? What is BJ's why every single day?
Getting better.
Getting better.
I told you.
He loves the process. I love it. I love it.
Like, it's the path, man. You learn so much from it, and you don't want to skip any steps. You don't want to skip any steps, man. And just the creativeness. I'm gonna be honest. My dad is the number one person that challenges me every single day and gets on my nerves most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's all good, man. You know, he challenges me mentally every single day. And I remember when I went to Grambling. I signed to Grambling out of high school. Played there for a year. I went to Grambling in Louisiana, and I was like, bro, I'm so bored. I'm so bored.
You spoiled, man. You stay 11. Yeah, I feel you.
No, it's not even that. Like my pops was challenging me so much every single day, like mentally. And I got the gremlin, and my pops wasn't there. So
I
I'm
see
like,
what you're saying.
bro, I am bored. Like I need the challenge.
It's a change of environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in control of everything. And it's like I don't feel the challenge anymore. So for me, like what drives me is just that challenge, man. Like I need to compete, bro.
Yeah.
I need to compete, and I think the biggest thing is knowing when to turn it off and when to turn it on. You know, when you're with your significant other, or when you're with your friends or your parents or whoever else, you turn it off. But you know, with me, everyday life, I want to compete. I want the process. I want the challenge. That's what drives me every single day to see how I can get 1% better than I was yesterday. Yeah. I'm competing against BJ yesterday and BJ today. Those two are going at it and they hate each other. They going at it. It's Lakers and Celtics, bro. It's Bird and Magic. You know what I'm saying? It's that. It's the rivalry. Yeah. And they going at it. Because BJ today is trying to find out how he can get 1% better than BJ yesterday. So that's what it is. That's what drives me, man. Competition.
Talk about it. 1% better, man. You spoke about it on your Instagram too. I love that because you broke down the process. Like it's not this big monumentous thing where I have to do all of this in one day. 1% is something that's so tangible. How do we make our goals more tangible? How do we break them down? Because New Year's resolutions and all these ideas are so big that if you fall short, it's like, yo, I got to give up because it's too big. But instead, breaking down to weekly, daily, how do we break down all those goals sometimes?
Be willing to compromise. You're not going to get from all the way. You're not going to get from LA to Atlanta in 1 hour.
I see.
Even on a plane, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to compromise. Okay, how can I do this today? We're going to work on this for 2 days. We're going to work or a week. We're going to work on this the next week, this the next week, and this the next week. Before you know it, you look up and you all the way over here.
You're killing it.
You're killing it. You got to be willing to go slow with the process. Patience. So I have like signs in my bathroom and signs in my room and everything all over the wall. Yeah. And one of the signs I have in my bathroom is intelligence requires patience. Like intelligence requires patience. You have to be patient with yourself. Don't think you're going, because what's going to happen is if you're not patient with yourself, you're going to expect so much out of yourself. And when you don't accomplish that, that's when the anxiety comes, that's when the depression comes in. That's when the anxiety comes in, the stress comes in, the sadness comes in. Yeah. Now you're overwhelmed because you didn't accomplish this. Now it's, I'm a big failure. I can't believe I did. No, your goal was something you couldn't reach. You have to be willing to minimize that goal. Be willing to take the small steps. Right? And that's what you want to do.
That's it. That's it. You transferred Grambling State, Morehouse. A lot of former athletes transfer schools, changed environments. And for people right now who might be playing a sport, baseball in particular, transferring, what words of advice do you have for them about going into a brand new school, brand new environment? You got to ingratiate yourself, new teammates, new people on campus. How do you do it?
Know your strengths, know your limitations, and be so concerned with yourself to where the environment barely impacts you. So I had a saying when I was in high school, probably my junior year, might be senior year, where I started really coming into myself at 17. And I told myself, I can go to the worst school in America right now and I will be the same as that person. Because what's going on around me has nothing to do with me. Like zero. Right? If I know that I'm that confident in myself and I'm here for a specific reason, and write down your reasons why you're going there, then you can focus that much more on why you're there, and what's going on around you will not affect you. Shiloh for me was the perfect place for that because there was so much going on at Shiloh. There's a running joke me and my homeboys have that went to Shiloh with me. We were like, bro, you are never going to be bored at Shiloh.
It's going to be something
every day. Every single day it's going to be something. And I remember at Shiloh, we used to have like fights all the time, man, all the time. And like almost every other day, literally. And sometimes we had like, I remember one day we had 4 girl fights, like only girls. Like 4, only girls. And so, but I remember I found myself, and this is when I knew I was getting better at discipline. I found myself hearing the fight behind me, and everybody rushing and stuff. You know, normally everybody goes to a circle.
Walking in the opposite direction.
Bro, I was walking not only in the opposite direction, I was thinking about class that was ahead of me.
You focused.
I wasn't even thinking about the fight. I was focused, bro. I was focused. I wasn't even thinking about the fight. I was going strictly to class. And I'm like, yo, I'll hear about it. I'm good. I don't need that. So that's what it is, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And life, honestly, man, it's like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got social media, busted challenge going on over
Yeah.
here, and then you got this person over here, sports talk over there.
You know you focus when I was talking to my clients about
Mhm.
that. You know you focus when somebody walk up to you and say, bruh, can you believe so-and-so broke up?
I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
And you like, well, when did they get together?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't even know what you're talking about. That's right.
Who is that? When did they get together?
That's
like,
right.
You don't even know they got together.
That's right.
And they've been together for 3 more what?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So that's when you know you focus. That's a big thing for me, man, being focused, man. So,
Yeah, man, because I already know you being a life coach album, ebook.
Yeah.
I can just keep going on for days, y'all. But I know that sometimes, man, when people start making this like transition of doing what they love full time or just committing to something, that you kind of have to be disconnected from the world somewhat. So for people who's like going through that phase right now, how do you get more comfortable from not knowing everything anymore?
you have to understand you're never going to know everything. You never are. If you know everything, then the hunt would be boring. You know, it would be boring. You have to be willing to again, step outside of your comfort zone and be willing to understand. I don't know everything. I need to know more. Like, that's the constant quest. Kobe talks about it all the time with Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
It's the constant quest of always knowing more or doing more, stepping outside of that comfort zone, right? I think, you know, social media is huge now for us because that's what teaches us to be exactly who we are, and that is like other people.
Yeah.
It teaches us to be like other people. But I think you have to be willing to step outside of that comfort zone, man. So that's big for me. That comfort zone is huge for me.
Yeah.
Huge. And outside of that comfort zone is like Brene Brown talks about. By the way, Brene Brown, I'm giving a lot of ads.
Hey,
man.
keep plugging this.
I need some money.
Hey, plug everybody, man. Hey, we trying to get this knowledge.
I'm writing the letter to everybody.
Yeah.
And I need some money.
Hey, y'all owe me.
But Brene Brown said that, man. So in her Netflix special, she was saying like vulnerability is going out and putting yourself out there and not knowing the outcome. You know, and you have to be willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're not gonna know the outcome. Do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it anyway. Your emotions are gonna tell you no. That's when that logic kicks in. Like, no, I'm gonna do it. I don't care what happens. I'm about to do it. So, do it.
Good knowledge, bro. Both of your parents, law enforcement, you got it together, structure, focus. What impact did your parents have on you today? And then 2, how are you going to use the lessons and the pros and cons that you got from them when it comes to Lil BJ or the daughter, the wife, all that good stuff?
So I love my parents uncomfortably much.
Okay.
Like I love it's on a different stratosphere how much I love my parents, man. And that's because there's a respect factor that they know that I want to do this specific thing with my life, and the way they structured me to be a specific type of person, they instilled certain things in me, whether it was empathy for other people, or it was hard work, or it was you know, discipline, or having courage. The small things of having a family, you know, and pulling knowledge from everybody that you come in contact with. Those are the things that my parents taught me. And so not only that, not only what they told me, but what they showed me. Like my dad showed me everything. I will have zero problem with being a dad. Zero. I don't say I have zero, but I
already know what you mean.
Yeah, obviously I have some, but I would have minimal problems being a dad.
It's a blueprint for you.
Because I had to. I had to master. Like I had to master.
Yeah.
It was my dad telling me how to run a family, but how to lead a family, right? And how to pull from God, and then you're right here, and then you spread that out, right? So you got God, you got the father, the mother, and you got the kids, right? I have no problem with that because I had that teaching at home,
right.
So these are things that my parents taught me in my life that I'm gonna forever be grateful for and spread to everyone I come in contact with. But I don't think I'll ever have a problem with leading my family, guarding my family, guiding my family, right? Governing my family, right? I don't think I'll have a problem with that, bro. I won't. So my parents taught me so much, man. Just so much in regards to making me the person I am today, right?
That's beautiful, man. Speaking on God, bro, you've been dropping Bible verses into the Word.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, we already know who instilled that in you, right?
Yeah.
But what impact has your relationship with God had and sprinkled on when it comes to your business, when it comes to life coaching, when it comes to staying focused, overall lifestyle?
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
I use the Bible in my relationship with God to dictate the type of person I am.
Yes, sir.
Like that is literally the type of person I am. And it's crazy. I my first tattoo was a tattoo with Jesus and the cross on my wrist. And the reason why I got it was because it still shocks me today to know that somebody died for us who didn't even like know us.
It's crazy.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
We weren't even thought about 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you died for us to not go to hell. That's crazy. Like, couldn't believe it. But I was one of those kids that was raised in the church. My mother being an usher. Shout out to World Changes in College Park, by the way.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Creflo, what up, man?
Oh, boy, truly Atlanta brand. I love it.
Sure,
I love it.
But my mother and my father both started going to college. Going to World Changes in the early 90s, like 92 when they got married. And then I was baby dedication and all that stuff came out. Born again. I was all the baby stuff. I was doing that. I'll list the baby stuff that you gotta do.
Yeah.
In 95. So I was going there anyway. I would say about 17, 16, that's when I really started like understanding God for myself. Instead of being someone who goes there because my mother's an usher, I started understanding, okay, this is me and God have a relationship for real. Like I know God, like we talk often, you know what I'm saying? And so just hearing God and letting him lead me through everything is what really pushes me every single day. Like when I wake up, that's the first thing that I do is talk to God and tell him thank you. It's the last thing I do when I go to bed. Yeah. That's everything for me. Everything for me. So
beautiful, man. And for younger men who may feel uncomfortable or, man, I would even say ashamed of having that close relationship with God, being in the world that we're in right now, how do you get more comfortable with loving God and being open about it?
There's a number of ways. I think for one, you can just start by talking to him. I think we have to do a better job of not being judgmental of people in a church setting. But I think, just having that spiritual bond with God for me is important. But I think, like I said, talking to him and also being willing to crack open the Bible one time. Yeah. Just do it once. Yeah. Read Proverbs and see if you become a better man. See if you're not educated on discipline, on discernment. All of these things I've said, by the way, I'm looking at the camera and saying, all these things that I've said have come from out the Bible, by the way. I just want to let y'all know that. All of them. Discipline, discernment, consistency, hard work, these things have come out the Bible. So that's what guides me every day. So I would say in terms of like just men who are, a little bit uncomfortable with the relationship with God, just read the Bible. Read Proverbs one time. Read it. And see the type of man you become. Man. Can't do nothing to get better from it.
Yo, BJ, man, you came through, bro. You dropped bombs. Before we even started filming, he was killing it, man. Yeah. BJ, bro, thank you, man, for your time. But before we bounce, where do you see BJ? Where do you see your brand, life coaching, everything within the next 5 to 10 years? And also, where can everybody follow you? Check out the podcast, ebook, album, all that good stuff as well.
In 5 to 10 years, I will be 30. I'm gonna be old.
Still young, man. You're still in your prime.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
But I'll be 30, so I will be already out of grad school. I will be Dr. BJ Armstead. I already own my business now. I own two, as a matter of fact. One is Apollo Sports Counseling, which is a nonprofit where we mix the two concepts of mental health as well as athletics for high school and college kids, and younger as well. But I also own a company by the name of Mind and Body Athletics, where we mix in the physical as well as the mental side of athletics. So I'll be running that. That will be close to $1 million company, if not already $1 million company by the time 5 to 10 years from now. And just living life, man. Being happy with life. Yeah. That statement, I believe, is so underrated. Just being happy with life. So go ahead and follow me, man, at BJ the Visionary on IG, Twitter as well. I don't do Snapchat for real. I don't have a MySpace no more. I know some people probably got MySpace. I ain't got one, I promise. Trying to think what else. Apollo Sports Counseling on IG. If you're an athlete, follow me there. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes, sir. Man, BJ, bro, keep doing what you're doing. It's needed. Keep shining, keep going, stepping out of that comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
We need that, man. Thank y'all so very much, man, for always tapping in, supporting the platform. Once again, my name is Caleb Smith, BJ Armstead, living legend, as y'all see. Make sure to follow him, hit him up if you need some life coaching. If you know any kids, athletes, man, contact this man. He's right here in the city of Atlanta. Show him love, most definitely. But subscribe, comment, share all of our content. And also, man, subscribe, man, to BJ's podcast. Check out his album, everything. Man.
Everything is on my IG.
Tell
The
him.
podcast is on there. It's on the what's the link tree?
You already got it organized.
Hey, you know I'm an old soul, so I got to think about stuff before, you know.
It's intentional.
So it's on the link tree, man. The podcast is on there. The album is on there. The ebook. Email me for the send me your email for the ebook. I ain't got no problem with sending it out. It's free.
Yeah.
Free game. So
right.
I'll send it to you. Let me know.
Yeah.
Everything is on my IG. Follow me at BJ the Visionary on IG. Yes.
Look, you already got the game. Get more from him. Shout out to June as well. Camera woman killing the game. So thank all y'all. Much love. Much appreciated. Be blessed in your dreams. They will come true. Peace.